Hello and welcome. I'm so grateful to be here to welcome you all to the 2021 Thaddeus Fairbanks Society Celebration and Appreciation. It is an honor to be here with such loyal alumni, families, friends, and benefactors at the end of my first year as headmaster at St. Johnsbury Academy. I've spent many days now at my desk with Thaddeus Fairbanks, the portrait of Thaddeus Fairbanks, looking over my shoulder. I hope that I've been able to do justice to his legacy and all of yours in this year of years at the Academy. So far, we've dealt with all kinds of madness as a result of the pandemic, and also financial uncertainty and deep national divisions and a presidential election and violence in the Capitol. I've appreciated more than anything here at St. Johnsbury Academy the generous spirit and practicality of this community. Faculty, students, families, and alumni have been resilient and have offered one another and me unwavering support. Because we've had to stay masked and distant, it has not been easy to teach or learn this year, or to stay connected and to form the relationships that are essential to education. If we ever doubted what was at the center of our mission, we don't now. It is connection. We can now see a near future where we can make those connections again. And in the meantime, we've been able to bring our community through all of these challenges with a sense of common purpose, and I'm so impressed by that. This school has a strong heart, and I know that those of you I'm speaking to today feel a powerful obligation to keep that heart safe, true, and strong for generations to come. Your dedication and your support will surely do that. We have a special program for you today, beginning with some words of wisdom from alum and trustee emeritus Rod Vitti, class of 1951. Then we'll hear some words of welcome and an overview of the different giving levels of the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society from class of 1987 alum and current president of the Board of Trustees, Jay Wright. We're also fortunate to have three outstanding student speakers, soon-to-be alumni from the class of 2021, Stephen Burchin, Merrick Hemond, and Moises Satoun Zaga. After that, we will enjoy a showcase of student artwork and performance, including an instrumental piece on the clarinet from graduating senior Mason Davis. And finally, we'll end today's program acknowledging gratefully all of those who are members of the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society. So to begin, it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Trustee Emeritus Rod Vitti, who was instrumental in establishing the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society. His leadership, forward thinking, and outstanding leadership continues.
This is Rod Vitti from sunny Naples, Florida, talking to you folks. Since the homecoming at St. Johnsbury Academy is going to be virtual this year, I've been asked by Tammy Cady, who is the Assistant Head of Advancement at the Academy, to give a little background on the establishment of the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society at the Academy. Our thoughts about it started about 20 years ago. When I was on the Board of Trustees, and we were trying to determine how to better organize the funding and the gift arrangements for the Academy. And I spent a lot of time talking to Bernie Mayo, who was the headmaster at the time, and we decided to call this organization the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society. And so my background on that was the fact that I had been in fundraising at the West Point Military Academy for many years with a major fundraising committee, and also at Norwich University. I was a member of the Alden Partridge Society, which is the fundraising arm of Norwich University. So we adopted those organizations, and why couldn't we do the similar type of thing at the Academy, which we did. So we established the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society, which was an organization that would appeal to alumni, it would appeal to parents and friends of the Academy, and communicate with those folks on giving money to the Academy to fund all of their operations, perhaps, a large part of their operations, and to fund a lot of the capital campaigns that we were developing at that time, and to also establish a lot of the ongoing financial commitments of the Academy. We also set up different categories, and we established lapel pins, such as the one I have right here. This is one of the lapel pins for one of the categories. And I worked with a great deal of time with Tammy Cady on this, and she's the one that carried the ball for the Fairbanks Society and administration of the organization. So we set up all the different categories all the way from lifetime giving to legacy council for all the planned giving and deferred giving, which was the 1842 council. And we also set up a awards pedestal, which was a large platform that we had made, and now it's in the entrance hall of the Morse Center, where we could identify and honor those major gift donors to the Academy. So the program has been very successful. If you just look around the campus of the Academy, you can see the transformation of what's been done there, from the Mayo Center to the Morse Center to all the athletic fields and facilities, and also the renovations of Brandtview. So the fundraising is very, very, very successful at the Academy, and I want to again commend Tammy Cady for her work over the years. Tremendous amount of work she's done with her staff on working through the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society. We also set up, I think the luncheon was in 2004. We set up a luncheon at homecoming and we called it the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society Luncheon. That's been very successful, and it's an ongoing thing, and I've been very proud of what they've done there. So over the years, the funding has been well established and well run by Katie and her staff and the headmasters, and I've been very pleased that it's been so successful. All the alumni there and of course the students, we all benefited from that, what I call the margin of excellence, which is what fundraising provides to the students. So that's the background of the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society. And again, from sunny Naples, Florida, I wish you all the best of success and health into the future, and keep funding for St. Johnsbury Academy.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. What a great pleasure to hear from Trustee Emeritus Rod Vitti, a class of 1951, from, as he put it, sunny Naples, Florida. It must be the fountain of youth down there, because Rod looks awfully good for someone in his late 80s. As Rod mentioned, he and Bernier Mayo were instrumental in setting up the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society back over 15 years ago. When I first joined the Board of Trustees in 2003, Rod and Bernier were constantly pounding the table about how important it was to recognize our loyal donors to the school. And Rod was the person who really carried the project through and came up with the idea of the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society and ways to recognize you and our other loyal donors. Because of Rod, this appreciation celebration happens annually to publicly recognize you and our other donors. Although we now are meeting virtually, and I certainly miss the in-person aspect of this, we look forward to celebrating in person next year with you and everyone else. So I really wish to thank Rod for being the impetus behind this tradition. Rod had a great career at the Academy. For those of you who don't know Rod personally, he was a tremendous athlete. His dad, by the way, was class of 1916 from the Academy, which is something that he's very proud of as well. So we look forward to seeing everyone again next year at Reunion Weekend. The mission and the purpose of the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society is to thank you, our loyal donors, for your loyalty and generosity to St. Johnsbury Academy. There are 4 categories of this society. The first is for those who have included the school in their estate plans and/or have made a planned or deferred gift to the Academy. This is known as the 1842 Circle. The second, loyalty donors, recognize those who have given to the Academy for 10 or more consecutive years, and in any amount, but recognizing the consistent donors that make our school excellent. The third is our annual leadership donors who have contributed $1,000 or more in the last 12 months. And then lastly, we have our cumulative giving societies. And this was something that Rod thought was especially important, to recognize people who give over the course of their lifetimes, often only a small amount each year, but over time it adds up to big numbers, and it really matters. So donors who have given a total of $20,000 or more begin the recognition in the Lifetime Members Society. The next mark is $50,000. They move to the Kobe Council in honor of James Kobe, our first headmaster. Once they reach $100,000, they move into the Morse Council. At $250,000, the Coolidge Council, named after former President Calvin Coolidge, who was an alum of the school. At $500,000, the Heritage Council. And our last and highest level is the Legacy Council, for those who have cumulative giving of $1 million or more. Donors receive a pin at each level and are recognized on our pedestal located in the lobby of the Morse Center for the Arts, acknowledged in our annual Alumni Hilltopper magazine, and listed on the giving posters located in the Strasco Alumni Center. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees and everyone else here at the Academy, to all of you who are members of the Thaddeus Fairbanks Society, we thank you on behalf of the school for your generosity and willingness to support us. St. Johnsbury Academy would not be the place today it is today without our loyal supporters. Thank you.
Many thanks for those words, Rod and Jay. Now it gives me immense pleasure to introduce Senior Stephen Burchin, whom I have gotten to know as he's chosen to engage with the community this year by telling the story of his family, his grandparents who survived the Holocaust, as a way to talk about the legacy of anti-Semitism. As a strong cultural leader who organized a Passover Seder for his fellow Jewish students that was meaningful for so many who were far away from their families, and most recently as an engaged campus citizen who worked with faculty and fellow students to have a conversation that was informative and careful about the violence in the Middle East. His time here at the Academy has been transformational, and he is here to share his story with you.
Hello, Dr. Howell, trustees, alumni, benefactors, family, and friends. I thank you all in advance for listening to my speech, as I'm incredibly humbled to be able to tell you all about my time at St. Johnsbury Academy. But first, I'd like to tell you all a little bit about myself. My name is Stephen Burchin, and at the time of this recording, I'm at the 99-yard line of my high school career. I'm getting prepared to leave my cocoon in Vermont, spread my wings, and fly away to Waltham, Massachusetts, where I plan to attend Brandeis University and study international relations and international business. I'm happy to be looking at a pretty bright future right now, which is in part due to my hard work, but also greatly possible because of a school in the middle of nowhere, Vermont, called St. Johnsbury Academy. I come from a very interesting background, to say the least. My mother was born and raised in Venice, Italy, which in itself is fairly simple to understand. My father, on the other hand, is a Jew born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, to two Holocaust survivors who moved from modern-day Poland and Belarus after living through and surviving pain that I cannot bring myself to imagine. That makes me an Italian-American Jew, which confuses a lot of people the first time they hear it, but makes for an excellent topic of conversation. I was born in New York City and attended a small private school on the Upper East Side called La Scuola d'Italia, which taught an Italian and English curriculum, allowing me to enjoy both cultures simultaneously and make friendships that have lasted to this very day. The only problem with La Scuola was its class size, as my class consisted of 18 classmates I had known since I was 6 years old. By the 8th grade, I knew it was time for a change in scenery. I chose a screen public high school called the Clinton School and saw the number of classmates jump from a mere 18 to about 150. This change had an incredibly large impact on both my social and academic lives, as I saw one grow and the latter fall almost exponentially. I got to the point that in 10th grade, I had gone from a B+ student to someone who would settle for C's, from someone who enjoyed pursuing academia outside of the classroom to someone who wanted to chase parties and popularity. I was falling into a pit. When I first heard of the idea of going to boarding school, I was hesitant, but after much thinking, the change might be just what I needed. After all, none of my friends in the city were even contemplating going to a boarding school, so I thought I could be the trendsetter I imagined myself to be. However, it was a life-changing trip to Israel that changed this childish idea of just being a trendsetter. After having visited the Holocaust Museum and typing in the name Burchin in Yad Vashem's Hall of Names, I realized just how blessed I was. I was blessed to be living a privileged life that I still had some control over. Unlike many of my relatives that had perished without being able to live their lives out to the fullest. I was a spoiled fool and realized that boarding school, away from the distractions of the city, was the best way to go. I promised myself that I would grow up. I joined the Academy's dorm community my junior year of high school and got in trouble almost immediately. I got caught red-handed smoking marijuana, and in order to try not to tarnish my new reputation, I lied while being interrogated by Mr. Roblard. Lying would only land me deeper in trouble, and by the time it was parents' weekend, it was time for my expulsion hearing. A few things stuck with me that day. I was going to be meeting the legendary Headmaster Tom Lovett for the very first time, but under some unfortunate circumstances. But the part that stuck with me the most was the pure look of disappointment in my mother and father's faces. I questioned how serious I was when I made the promise to myself. When Headmaster Lovett granted me a final chance, I took it gratefully, knowing that for the rest of my time at the Academy, I would be walking on extremely thin ice. I was placed on restriction for 2.5 months. I focused on my academic and athletic commitments as a way to stay out of trouble, a choice that I can now confidently say was the smartest thing I did during that infamous semester. I made the honor roll for the first time in nearly 2 years, which was a great accomplishment for me at the time. But deep down, I knew that if I pushed harder, I could do better. I chose to quit the hockey team, a decision that worried some who believed that athletics were keeping me from getting in trouble. Some also believed that when COVID-19 hit, that I would completely forget about the importance of academics and continue living the carefree life I lived before I came to the Academy. I can now say, with utter confidence, that they were wrong. I finished that semester on high honor roll, and during the pandemic, even reshaped the way that I learned, by planning things ahead instead of just leaving them at the last minute. The second semester of junior year gave me confidence. It made me realize that I could achieve greatness by keeping focused and zeroing in on the highest level of academic achievement I could. My senior year so far has been nothing short of an absolute success. I have achieved the high honor roll both semesters, spoken about anti-Semitism and the Jewish holiday of Passover in chapel at Fuller Hall, presented my capstone, became a leader in both the dorm and school communities, and can now say with confidence that thanks to St. Johnsbury Academy, I was able to keep a promise that I made to myself in Israel almost 2 years ago. For this, I want to thank God, my family, the teachers who helped quench my thirst for knowledge, the resident life staff who helped keep me in line. I also want to give a special shout out to Mr. Roblard and Mr. Ryan, who, quote, kept my butt in line, as they would most definitely say. My Green Dorm family, my father, mother, and little brother Alex, who gave me the motivation to get up every morning. Mr. Baker from admissions, who saw the potential I had when I applied to the Academy. And last but not least, Headmaster Tom Lovett, whose generosity and trust in my ability has allowed me to develop into the person my parents can be proud of. Thanks to St. Johnsbury Academy, I was able to keep the promise I made to myself, and for this, I am eternally grateful. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for supporting this school and all the students like me who walk its halls every day. Thank you.
I'm going to take this opportunity to brag a bit about Merrick Hemond, as I know she would not do that on her own. Not only is she a great student and a quiet leader, just a few weeks ago, without much hoopla, Merrick signed a letter of intent to run cross-country for an NCAA Division I school. And even more recently, she was a model during our 2021 fashion show. Merrick does it all, and I hope you enjoy her story.
Hello everyone, my name is Merrick Hemond and I'm a senior day student here at St. Johnsbury Academy. I can easily say the decision to come to the Academy has presented me with far more opportunity than I could have ever imagined. To give a little background on who I am, I've grown up in Burke, Vermont. My father is a graduate of the class of 1987, and my mother has worked in the health science department here at school for nearly 20 years and has served as a cross-country coach. I remember as a young kid, my mother would occasionally bring me with her to practices, and I was simply mesmerized by it all. Even at a young age, I was able to see the kind of culture that was valued and cultivated at the Academy, one where everyone was welcoming, kind, and dedicated to putting in the work for their sport. This sense of welcoming nature and determination was clearly not just cultivated by one team, but the entirety of programs here at the Academy. It truly was a part of the culture of the school. And over the years, my family has attended cross-country meets, basketball games, football games, among many other things. Watching the level of enthusiasm and passion from the crowd and the community that was built from these gatherings extends far beyond what I could have envisioned. Even before I became a student here, I grew up feeling as though I belonged and was immersed in it all. And I think that speaks to the culture and sense of community here at the Academy. From my experience as a child, I knew that regardless of what I wanted to pursue at the Academy, whether it be clubs, sports, or certain fields of study, I would be provided the endless opportunity to do so. This was confirmed throughout all my years here, as I have been able to pursue all of my passions, from my classes to joining teams, serving the community, and ultimately becoming a part of something much bigger and greater than I could have foreseen. Had it not been for the Academy, I do not think I would have found my passion for running. Running has built and shaped my values as a person. I've learned lessons in humility, respect, and determination, that along with understanding, compassion, and how powerful it can be to work with others in order to achieve success. Even when sidelined with an injury, I felt like I was part of something, and that meant the world to me. Even though I was not collecting points at races, I was still a valuable member of the team. These experiences, these achievements, and many, many challenges have truly shaped me as a person, and I believe prepared me for my future. Thanks to everyone in this community with their endless support and encouragement, I have signed a letter of intent to run cross country at the Division I level with Stony Brook University in Long Island, New York, where I was planning to be majoring in health sciences. This would not have been possible without the community that makes up the school, the dedicated teachers that become like family, the dedicated students who strive for greatness, and the care shown by the extended St. Johnsbury community. This is what makes this place truly one of a kind. And I'm forever grateful for all these opportunities I have been given here, and will cherish the community I have been so fortunate to be a part of here at St. Johnsbury Academy. Thank you.
Thank you, Merrick. Last, I would like to introduce Moises Satoun Zaga. Moises is another student who has impressed me with how far he's come, how much he's learned about himself, and what it means to truly appreciate what we have. I hope you'll enjoy his story as well.
Hello, Dr. Howell, Mr. Wright, trustees, alumni, and benefactors. Life is beautiful, but not always easy. It has problems, and the challenge lies in facing them with courage. I believe that most of us here have faced many challenges in our families, with friends, in our work, or with our health. My name is Moises Satoun Zaga, and throughout my childhood in Mexico City, I faced some challenges. One challenge that had a big impact on me was my parents' divorce. My parents divorced when I was 7 years old. At that early age, and at that time in my community, it was weird to hear that someone's parents had divorced. It was looked down upon. As a result, many of my friends' parents would no longer let them be my friends. This sense of isolation affected me greatly. When you're a kid, what you most want in your life are your friends. From one day to the next, I was no longer invited to birthday parties, sleepovers, etc. I realized that the best way to make real and valuable friends is being yourself and just yourself. It was during that time I was determined never to judge people no matter their background. In Mexico City, I was surrounded by individuals who were always depending on their parents. They were just thinking in luxury. And that's why I realized that living a life of extreme comfort and self-interest was not the best one for me. This luxurious life seemed too easy for me, and I wanted to prove myself I was better than that. I strongly believe that the best way to prove yourself is getting out of your comfort zone, and that is the reason I came to St. Johnsbury Academy. When I first arrived to the academy, I found myself in a place where I could be me without being judged. I found a place that was going to help me to have the life I wanted to have, a life with discipline, with high goals, and most importantly, a life that values the real moments and not superficial things. In my first year at the academy, I created friendships with people from around the world, different kinds of people, all free to be themselves, encouraged to be their best selves. These friendships and relationships I will never forget, and relationships that I will have for the rest of my life. I came here looking for a change, and this was the first of many I experienced. That change was so remarkable that even people from here and Mexico both noticed it and commented on how much I had grown. But as I mentioned before, life is beautiful, but not always easy. When I arrived last fall, here was not the same place as my first year. We were facing a global pandemic, and there were many new rules and procedures that we needed to follow. Arriving and thinking it was going to be the same as the year before is something I regret. I arrived with the expectation of the same fun and closeness of last year, and I started struggling a lot being in a place that was not the same as usual. I got frustrated with the limited number of activities and events that the academy traditionally had. As a result, I started surrounding myself with people that were not the best influences on me or helping me to reach the goals I had set for myself in the beginning in St. J.A. Putting myself in a circle that was not the ideal for me and having a level of frustration took me to make a mistake that marked a major turning point in my life. I got myself into trouble. The worst part of me was damaging the reputation I built my first year. I disappointed people here, because here people trust and believe in the ones they are surrounded by. My decision led to being restricted for a month and suspended for the soccer team for 3 weeks. This lack of activity and social connections was very hard for me. I realized I needed to face this challenge with courage. Without challenges, there is no growth and no success. I started putting myself in places where I was going to grow as a student, but more importantly, as a person. I started building stronger relationships with teachers, because teachers are not just people who show you how to learn subjects. Teachers are going to help you and guide you always in the good times and the bad times. I started having a leading role in my dorm, becoming a student proctor. Then, I started being a leader in my class and joined the class council, which met every Friday to provide ideas on how students could make this year better. Even during the pandemic, I felt such a need to show people the real me. For my public speaking class, I spoke in chapel, giving a powerful speech on gratitude and making a positive impact on someone's life each day. I started doing projects for the alumni and marketing office and spoke with prospective academy students from Mexico. As you can see, I took advantage of all the opportunities I could. This special place is full of opportunities, and sometimes it takes an unfortunate circumstance to help guide you in the direction you want to go. All these experiences and learned lessons are things that made the new Moises. A person that came as a teenager and a student that graduates as an independent adult, ready to face challenges like this and any other that the world will put in front of me. Next year, I will be joining American University, located in Washington, D.C. I am planning to major in business management. I grew up around business, and it is something I am passionate about. Thanks to all the skills I learned here, now I am sure that in the future, I will be able to lead a group of people, whether in a business environment or in a non-profit organization. So one day, I can hopefully impact a community, and have a positive impact on the lives of many others like St. Johnsbury Academy impacted mine. Thank you for your continued support of the school that helped to change my life. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Moises. I hope you enjoyed the stories from our 3 soon-to-be alumni. I know they will make their mark in the world. They make me proud and are an inspiration to all of us. We'd like to end our presentation with a brief showcase from students in our art program, followed by an acknowledgement of the members of our Thaddeus Fairbanks Society. I want to thank you all for your continued support. We look forward to meeting in person next year, but in the meantime, please enjoy this performance by Mason Davis on the clarinet while viewing the art display from our extremely talented students. Thank you.